Okay, so Ragnar will start with the film that's called Adieu l'enfance.
L'enfance. Yes. You just saw like a short compilation about a movie, Adieu l'enfance. For me, that project is very important for me. Why? Because it's also mentioned a lot of things about my childhood. Because like a Cameroonian, Catholic Cameroonian, and I was living with like 7 brothers, and nobody want to be like to work in the church. Or for my mom, somebody have to have the sacrifice to do that, to make the family, make like this kind of family proud. Then I was the choose one. After, but I don't know if I was going to be called it the choose one, but I had to make the sacrifice to work in the church. But when I arrived in the Netherlands at the age of 19, and then I saw this all of thing like the church they have been rebuilding and broken, like the Saint Augustine Church, who become now Dela, and to give them like a new destination, a new playground and this kind of thing. Then I was, for me, very in shock and also very angry. Then I was asking myself how they come like my childhood become in Europe, especially in Europe, become like a little bit in the question. And then I tried to find like some few research to look about it. And then I find out that the history of art and religion was being immediately intimidated in the past year before me. Then I was like, how am I going to use this, all of this damaged life to give them like a new meaning? Because then I back again to my same childhood to reuse like this kind of small shoes that I didn't use in the good way that was always broken. And then I give them like a new destination to change like that slipper from a new boat or from something else. And then for me, it was so simple. Then it's like, maybe it's better to try to keep this kind of nostalgia feeling and meaning in the same old way, to keep this historical meaningful about all of this pressure thing like a religion gives to me and also to my family, the way we grow up with that this kind of embracing, because I saw like how more you know is also more you don't know nothing. And that was like that's where like Socrates told us that you think that you know but you don't know nothing. But I always want to keep this I don't know exactly how to explain it with the good word, but this kind of small thing from the life, what I'm wondering for the life, what is really about life himself around me, what I'm always moving from Europe to Africa. That's why I want always to keep this. Maybe it's better to try to show you how we start with this, all of the project, because this is one piece that I was bought the first time to the St. Augustine Church when they broke it in 2016. And there was all of these candela things. And then I didn't know how to do with that, all of this thing. Like then you see like a Jesus almost, it's become like a trash. And then like maybe the trash cannot be a trash if you give them like a new meaning. The way like you always do in all of research about aspect about your work, that how are you going to make something new without breaking the attribute or also the meaningful that to stay in the space. And that's almost about the project and that's why I'm so happy that from that small boy was coming from Cameroon to the Eindhoven from the Design Academy, and I can find a way to keep express himself without lose his whole origin or way of thinking. Because in some way, like the same like identity have like a fixed form and they're also like grounded, but I don't believe in that. I think like the identity always be transformed, or the context push you always sometime to maybe to accept or to adapt of the way you're going to live it. And that's what's also like also the part of human being. Like sometimes the way the place you have push you to refine your way. And that's why I believe like the platform like a forum can give you this kind of hope with experience we share together. And then to see like also to compare yourself, maybe unfortunately to see what happened around you without be your own experience, but to be inspired with the experience from somebody else and to make your own life. Then I want to, for me, it's important to, how to say, to answer more to the question than to talk about this to my own work. That's I'm going to like it.
So when you call this adieu l'enfance, this means that you are separating yourself from your childhood, or is it more about adieu, giving it to God?
It's both, because I always say like the words don't mean nothing if you don't give the world a meaning of the world. Because in Africa, where you always say, when I'm coming from in my tribe, you say like, if a world by himself don't mean nothing, is the meaning you give to the world like will give you also that meaning back. Adieu mean always like a farewell. That's the meaning of like, and they say like in the European conception of the word adieu. But in Africa, adieu mean more like a God, more like a something like a behind you, beyond your own capacity, and beyond the thing like you think like you didn't expect to do it, but it's happened. Also, by the need of the people around you, and the need of people like maybe can have like the positive influence and the positive being to make yourself like also develop and transform on the person you should be, the person you are.
So the religion is not completely Catholic. It's also animistic, or.
I think the religion don't have like a specific a form or like a characteristic. A religion, they say like is human, because humans have to believe in something, and we call that religion. But it depends what is a religion. That's why I always say like I love the Jehovah people, because they have like this kind of conviction from themselves that they can change you to be something else. And at the same time, they forget to change themselves. That's why I say, because that's why I like the way like when you said about religion. For me, religion, I was saying like, I remember when I was at the academy, also about you, Lee, we will see you like a religion. Some people, maybe you didn't realize that, but for us like a student, we see you like a religion. And that's the way like I still believe like the religion is more than only that thing about God.
So recently you went to Africa for Biennale. What happened?
What happened in Africa was like, I feel a little bit also guilty about my background. No, not a background, about my state of being now in Europe. Then I was having this show in Fanabe, that solo show. And then I decided like, no, it's too simple for me to run away from Africa and to try to be successful in Europe. That's maybe I have to go back where I'm coming from, also to share with them and to give them like this kind of prospection. Then they can also be like all of this small boy who was working there on the ghetto from Yaoundé, of the ghetto from Dakar, that maybe if they have more hope and more like a more courage, also more belief, then they can also reach something. And that's why I was like, I want to go to Africa, not to try to change them, but to give them, to show them like a lot of things that are possible. And that was my intention, to go to the Biennale from Dakar. And then unfortunately be successfully, because then I have the queen who come visit me and this kind of thing to see the show. And then I was make fun of her also about that you'd never see me in the Netherlands, but you have to come to Africa to meet me. And I lived 25 years in the Netherlands. That is the world, like ups and
Do you
downs.
have images about this?
Yes, I have a beautiful picture. It's the one. Yeah, I'm gonna share. I think I don't know how to share it, but it's the one is the.
But you have a film, maybe.
Yeah, I have a film, but I think the picture is better because the film is so intimate. That thing like, and that's the picture I have. That's the one. I don't know how you can see it.
Oh, wow. She's so wonderful.
She's wonderful, but she's also very clever. That's why I like it, because she was also very free talking without this protocol, and then I like it a lot. And also I like the way like she come to Africa to see this kind of show, because in some way the show was also a little bit brute. I'm going to say almost sauvage when you say in the French word.
Nice. And what did you show?
I showed this 3 sculpture. Then it's like, maybe I have one of him here. Is that series I'm working now? I'm going to give me 1 minute. Is that show? This is the one. You see it?
Yeah.
And they showed the sculpture was more based about the idea, like a collective loneliness we have like in the lockdown time, and then everyone was busy with himself, and then also busy with things around him without being like having any control about what happened. And then we didn't choose it, but we landing there without have like any kind of idea when you're going to stop, when you're going to go forward. And then I was wondering, like, I want to make that combination to the two things, like you are alone in your, how to say, in your thought, but at the same time, you need the people around you also to be sure like you are in the same situation.
Right. And so can you tell us something about this major show you made in the Van Abbe Museum? Because that was your first solo show? Yeah, that was the first solo show. I really want to make him in Van Abbe. Why? Because I was like, I was telling to the curator that I'm born in Cameroon, I have in Eindhoven, and Eindhoven embraced me and give me a lot. Then if I want to make my first show like a big solo, it have to be in Van Abbe. Why? Because it's in Eindhoven. Then I have this kind of all, like the sequel have to be wrong, like all the story about your past, your future, and your everything. Then it's better to start in Van Abbe. Then you have like this kind of romanticism time that we're talking like the story is beautiful, like this kind of dream, American dream, but this one, the Netherlands dream, that you come from Africa and you come in Europe and you start to convince them that maybe it's another way to make art without the perception in the old convention way. And then it'd be more like unconvention. And that's why I started with that big show in Van Abbe. It cost me like 3-4 years to prepare that, and then it become very big. And I hope in the end of my presentation, you're going to have all of the movie to see all of the process and also the way that the show become. Okay. And so what is the next plan? The next plan is in between Hermitage and Berlin. Oh. And then I'm going to show all of the sculpture. Then the main sculpture you can see are going to help you because you don't have, you record a little bit and you're going to see all of them. The small monster hanging. You see a little bit. That the small monster, the Afrikaans monster hanging everywhere on me. And then I'm prepared for that's the thing. So you continue, in fact, that whole series. I always say like you never stop, because I said that is life. Because life is the moment like you always, when you are not dead, you are not. But when you are still in your 2 legs on the floor, you have to say you keep doing something to give a meaningful of your presence here. Because otherwise it don't make any sense. You can stop. You don't be there. Thus, I don't continue. I have to continue because I don't have any choice. You have to. And when did you know that you were gifted with this talent? I don't think it's a talent. I think it's a need. I think it's a necessary need. Okay. Because the first way I remember when I was 6 years old, when my dad passed away, I was 6.5. On my 7, I have to live with my uncle. And then I remember that moment that I have to move to my uncle. I have this stupid, like a back,
with a lot of plastic thing like a trash, and then I have to go to live to my uncle. And I know like, because my mom, she didn't have a lot of money enough, that I know like I don't have to show her the damaged shoes, then it's better that I have to fix it by myself, than she don't have to be very, how do you call it, sad. That I didn't want to see my mom sad every time, because then she don't have anything to give me. Thus I have to fix it by myself. Then I try to be this kind of creative way, like to, how do you say, to skip this kind of question to my mom and to try to find the response, like the response by myself.
Right. So this is, you are want now to show your film.
Yeah.
Can you introduce the film?
The film is about the, how do you say, because when I was in the design academy, for me, it was very important. I always say like it's the best moment of my life. And people always ask me why, because I learned what I don't want to do. And that's why I learned, like, I refuse to be frame. When I want to work with textile, I want to textile. When I want to work with resin, I work with resin. When I want to work with trash, I want to work with trash. And not have like the justify myself to be who I am, no, what I am. And that's why this film is very important, because it gives like this kind of short view of who is Victor, like the last 15, 20 years in the Netherlands, also specifically in the part of the Design Academy, and the person I am now, maybe the person I'm going to be also.